I don't know if this doesn't work this way in other MMOs. I'm fairly certain it doesn't. But if you see like a colored line on the ground, like a fucking red cone, in other MMOs, that cone means I'm going to attack here. The way it's calculated in Final Fantasy XIV is I have just attacked here. So if you see a red cone and the cone disappears and then the guy does the fire breath, if you're in the cone, when the cone goes away, you get hit, even if you're not in the fire animation. When the cone goes away is when it checks who gets hit. So technically, the cone is the attack, not the animation of the attack. The game doesn't update your position until you're on the ground. It doesn't calculate Z coordinates, it only calculates the X and Y. So if you jump, because you can just jump as a regular person, it doesn't update where you are until your character lands again. There's no reason for it to waste time on everyone playing, calculating like whether or not you're in range to heal someone or if they can hit you or whatever when you're jumping from a stone to a stone, for instance. It just says you're at the stone, so you land at a new stone. So about half of the Lancer's attacks involve them jumping in the air, which as, who pointed this out to start me on this thing? Domine. As Domine pointed out, since all their attacks mean they're in the air, it also means that they're always wherever they think they were. So a lot of Lancers also going with, a lot of people don't understand that that's how AoEs are, but a lot of classes aren't jumping in the air. So they just move and they're out of the AoE. Lancers jump up, but that doesn't update where they are, so they get hit anyways. Again, another game mechanic that just works against them, but it always makes them look real dumb. Yeah, Florida Man, the class. Quote, I didn't think it'd kill me. That's what I'm saying. So when you get particularly dumb Lancers, if you get a particularly dumb black mage or a white mage or whatever, it's just like, wow, he's dumb. If you get a Lancer who is particularly dumb, it's not, wow, he's dumb. It's, wow, another dumb Lancer. It's just, it's a perfect storm of you're going to look like a moron if you play a Lancer class. So Lancers are dumb. You could argue that they're not any dumber than any other class, and that's fine. That's not going to stop every class in the game saying you're dumb because you're a Lancer. Not because Lancers are weak. I actually think for single target, Lancers are the highest DPSs. They may have changed that in the latest expansion. I'm talking about the previous to latest expansion. As far as I remember, they were the strongest single target damage dealers in the game. But that doesn't change the fact that everyone still looks at them as if they eat fucking glue. I almost caused a cave-in, so I'm gonna take out some things so I don't cause a cave-in. The fact that tells happen instantly as soon as their timer ends, regardless of being physically hit by the attack, something that people coming from other MMOs have trouble with, because in most other MMOs, you're not physically... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't seem to understand this. And I'll tell you the truth, I would like to claim that I understood this immediately, but it wasn't until this one boss, which anyone who plays Final Fantasy XIV, as soon as I say this, you'll know the attack I'm talking about. There is a boss in the story called Titan. This is an entire boss designed around the mechanics of how AoEs work. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, every boss is designed around how AoEs work. No, because every attack Titan does pushes you or pulls you, and you're on a circle that gets smaller as the fight goes on. So if by like halfway through the fight, if any attack hits you, you're off the circle, which means guaranteed you're dead. You can't get back on the circle. You die as soon as you fall off this circle. So this Titan fight is like a very hard like break for everyone playing the game the first time until you kind of figure out, like a lot of people don't understand what is mechanically happening. They just get better at avoiding AoEs. But me being me, like looking into the programming behind it, I quickly figured out why people get hit. Everyone always seems to think that Titan's extra laggy because they swore they got out of the way of that attack. That attack didn't hit them. Why did they get knocked off? But it's because the attack didn't hit them, but the little line on the ground went away when they were still in it. So they think a lot that they avoided an attack, and then they get insta-killed. Every other boss, you get hit, you just take damage. So it's like, oh, maybe I didn't. But everyone who dies over and over and over again to Titan swears Titan's laggy. Titan is not laggy. You just didn't avoid the attack. And I do not have the time as a white mage to explain it to you because I'm keeping our tank alive. Yeah. Everyone freaking dies their first couple of times to Titan. And a lot of people just do not figure out why. A lot of people just, like I said, you can look at him now. I'm willing to bet there are still people who swear Titan is laggy. And he's not. He's not laggy at all. It's just you never understood how those AoEs were working. Like I said, it's kind of funny. There are people at the end of the game. I'll still have that argument with people. I'll be like, you didn't avoid that. And they'll be like, yes, I did. And I'm like, no, you were still in the line when the line went away. And they'll be like, yeah, but I avoided the attack. And I'm just like, how did you get this far? How did you get this far in this game and not understand how AoEs work? It's really weird. Also, you want a tip, the classes lie to you. I'm about to explain the 3 magic classes. And it's your job to guess who becomes who. If you play the game, don't spoil. I guess this is mostly for Stephen Robert and or anyone else who hasn't played Final Fantasy. And I'll write them down too. There's a class called a Thaumaturge. Hold on. There's a class called a Thaumaturge. There is a class called a Conjurer. And there is a class called a Arcanist. All right. One of these classes will become a Summoner. One of these classes will become a White Mage, Healer. And one of these classes will become a Black Mage, casts Fireball. Which one of those classes do you think is which? I just think this is a fucking error in translation that has never been fixed. Which class becomes the Summoner? Which class becomes the Black Mage? Which class becomes the White Mage? People look like crabs, talk like people, crab people. 1 Arcanist, 2 Thaumaturge, wait. I need you to put the words. So you think, am I understanding this? You think the Summoner is from an Arcanist. What? Don't put numbers. Don't put numbers. I need you to do word to word. I need you to do a word to word. The Thaumaturge becomes a Black Mage. The Arcanist becomes the White is a Amenaphys's guess. I'm waiting for Stephen Robert to give me his attempt. And I'm guessing this means for you, Conjurer would become the Summoner. This is a Amenaphys's guess. Thaumaturge Black, Arcanist White, Conjurer Summoner. Photograph. Why are we not building this? Yes, all right. Like I said, I'm just waiting for Stephen Roberts' answer, and then I will tell you what the correct answer is. Why did I hear screaming? What did the screaming? Oh, the ghost. Oh, fuck, we have another body. That actually kind of scared me. Hellfire Skyrim put in Spooky Jug and I heard a scream. Thaumaturge becomes the White Mage, Conjurer becomes the Black, and the Arcanist becomes the Summoner. So, you're both wrong, but I will give Stephen Robert, he was closer. Are you ready for this stupid shit? The Conjurer is the White Mage. The Thaumaturge is the Black Mage, and the Arcanist becomes the Summoner. I don't know why. I genuinely do not know why that's how they have that work. But that's the order. Conjurer is a White Mage. Thaumaturge is a Black Mage. Arcanist becomes a Summoner. And I find it to be just bafflingly goofy. Because Japan, that's nowhere near spooky. So, they have half of a thing kind of for Conjurer, though it's fucking dumb. I hate it. I hate it, and I think a lot of people hate it because it's part of a plot point. If you play the Conjurer, the idea is you are conjuring woodland nature spirits to heal. Is that the ghost again? Like you're channeling nature spirits to heal people. It's fucking weird. They have a plot point where there's a girl who acts like a regular fucking white mage would. You would think so. Where she heals people with like holy power. Proper power not drawn from nature. And it's actually part of your fucking plot point if you're leveling up as a white mage. That you have to set her on the right path. Because what she's doing is wrong. Which I always thought was weird. It's like, they knew that this is not how a white mage works. Why do they create a plot point where someone actually white mages as a white mage, and it's my job to correct her? And you do. You basically correct her so she becomes a real white mage. And it's like, she already was. She already was. I always thought that one was weird. Japan? Oh yeah, this is true. Arcanist, which is a poorly programmed class, can also, if they so choose, become a scholar, which is a summoner who heals. A scholar is a summoner who heals, of course. Now this, I would suggest, I don't know if you picked your class yet. I forgot about that class. I would suggest not doing that class as one of your first ones. Every class can become, like, you can become every class in the game with one character. You're not stuck to a class. But your primary probably should not be, hold on, Arcanist. And I'll explain why in a second. So as you level up and you do missions, as you level up and you do missions, you get gear. You get to choose what you want. You get the DPS gear or the healer gear or the tank gear. As you do dungeons, what gear are you collecting for? And you have to set up, like, at past level 10 or time you level up, you get to put another ability point in a stat. So if you're playing this one class who defaults as a DPS, you're getting DPS gear. If you continue on to Summoner, this is fine. It makes perfect sense. You just keep being. But then, if you're doing this to become one of the healers, you have to suddenly switch off and you have to dump everything you've done up to this point and start collecting gear as if you're now a healer. You have to just start from scratch, basically, at a high level to reclass yourself as a healer with the same class. But then also, when you're trying to, like, do the main story quest, it's kind of single playerish, like not dungeons, it's easier to do it as a DPS because as a healer, it takes forever because you don't have damage. So you want to switch back to doing DPS. This means you have to reclass and get all the equipment for being DPS. So if you're leveling up a fucking scholar / summoner, you have to keep juggling 2 full sets of equipment, 2 full stat builds. You have to pay money to fucking switch back and forth. It's a pain. It is a fucking pain to do that class leveling up. So I would not suggest starting that class. Also, as a white mage, I have a professional hatred for scholars. Scholars are dummy noobs, and they need to get the fuck out of my way. Those damn dummy noobs. Did I do all this as floor? Why? Why did I do all of that as floor? Am I dumb? It might be the dummy noob thing. It's supposed to be 2. Let's take that off. I just wanted a path. Am I eating off the upper right corner? Yeah. First 2 go. This is supposed to be a gap down below for the big hole. Get rid of those. As a white mage. Yeah, I see the face now. That's what they're called. That's the healer class. There are 3/4 healers now. There is a white mage who basically says, "Oh look, the Lancer got hurt. I need to heal the Lancer. And you heal them. And you are the game's strongest healer. You just are. You have special abilities that go, no matter how damaged you are now fully healed. Boom, that's their ultimate. Like once every 2 minutes, like boom, you're fully healed. You're fucking crazy good at healing. But their thing is reactive. Your ally screws up, you heal them, you're good. Scholars are proactive, but their numbers are far smaller. So the scholar has to spend all their time throwing shields on everybody. They put on buffs and things to absorb damage. So they're like, okay, the next 2,000 points of damage you take, you won't take it. The next 1,500 you take, you won't take it. Everyone is protected from 600 damage. You get a special thing where no matter what your next attack is that hits you, it's half off. You know, they do a whole bunch of proactive damage reduction measures. But if an ally gets then seriously hurt, you don't have a good way to restore them back to full, if that makes sense. So you need to be like constantly proactively keeping everyone's like resistances really high to make sure that you're good to go. If you have a scholar and a white mage on your team at the same time, you win. Between the scholar and the white mage, you really probably should not die. Because there are 8-man raids, so you could have 2 healers. You really probably should not die. Then you have a third class, so you don't get to like the second expansion in, called the Astrologian, which is let Jesus take the wheel of the class. It's got really powerful spells that can start competing with White Mage, but White Mage still takes the lead. They have really good and powerful freaking shields that can kind of compete with the Scholar, but the Scholar takes the field there. But the Astrologian can do both. And they have the game's strongest buffs. But everything is a random chance. They have a card system where they have 7 cards, and they have to do the ability to draw a card, and oh, this one says you do 40% more magic damage. Let me give this to the Black Mage. Fuck, I'm trying to get the tank to take less damage. I need the one that says you take less damage, and for the next 60 seconds, you don't have a mana cost for any of your abilities. I guess I'll put this on the White Mage, since they're gonna need to heal because I'm not doing my job. They're really good at their job. They're really, like, pretty good at what they do, but if you're not getting the cards you need, they're going to suck. And a lot of their really good abilities is 100% designed around the idea of letting them draw more cards or redraw and shuffle and things like that. So it's really, really weird, that third dude, the Astrologian. They're not bad. I've seen some people really, really good at it. But you guys know me. I got to strategize. You know what I'm saying? This ability at this point, this ability at that point. If this happens, do that ability. I can't be depending on no freaking, I need the right card draw to save the day. Like I said, they have some really fantastic spells too. Like a lot of them are really flashy and look amazing. But it's all depending upon their RNG half the time. And that is just awful. Oh, and another thing to just hate on scholars. Sometimes if you get like a scholar who's really, really good at their job, it actually hurts the white mage. The white mages have this weird like lotus mechanic where like by doing spells and shit like that, I can charge up these weird little red flowers and I can consume the red flowers to heal or make my heal spells even stronger. But if a scholar is really fucking good, like really, really good, then I never get to charge up my flowers. So when the Lancer ends up taking the boss's main attack to the face and is left at 1 hit point, I don't have a buffed up weak spell to heal him. I have to blow my full heal spell, which means I don't have it for the tank. You know what I'm saying? Like it throws off my rotation if I actually have a really, really good scholar. So my best healing companion would be a scholar, but an okay scholar. A scholar who does his job to save me mana, but doesn't try to do the job too well. That way I can charge up my flowers.
I'm not sure you got it, but I want to
also, I hate scholars' pets. Scholars like summoners, the whole purpose is they don't even do half their shit. They have a little dude on the field, and the dude does half their shit. They scream at the pet to do it. So, like, if it's the summoner, he could have, like, a little Ifrit and Ifrit's blowing fire at people, and he'll be like, do Super Pyroblast, like he's a fucking Pokemon trainer, and the Ifrit will do Super Pyroblast. Whereas the Scholar, the healer version, just has fairies. So the Scholar will be like, do Power Heal, and the fairy will do Power Heal. But the problem is they have hit points too. So you got to keep the stupid summon alive. Now, the Scholar has abilities to keep their summon alive. Don't get me wrong. They can do it on their own. They don't have really good ones. Again, the White Mage has the best heals. Guess what's the one thing that you can't select with the friend teammate selection feature? That's right. I can't select the stupid pet. It's the one thing I can't heal. I don't know why. But I can't rotate. It literally only shows the player list. I can't rotate up or down to heal a pet. So if the Scholar is exceptionally bad and can't keep their own damn pet alive, I've got to use the mouse and keyboard to manually click their stupid pet to heal it. And that drives me bonkers. It's the only thing I have to click on is a Scholar's pet. And that only really happens when they're just bad at healing their own pet. Which, if you have a pet, like a cat, you know, it's kind of mandatory that you can take care of your own damn pet. If they're no longer into these, then that might raise what I treat pets as. If I still have to click the damn thing, then I fucking still hate them. They are annoying. But yeah, no, I've definitely had a couple of dungeon experiences where someone has basically like told me off, and they're like, "Well, we would have been fine, but you let my pet die." I did adopt the cat, and it's not my responsibility to feed your cat. You take care of your pet. I'm not wasting time trying to track down your stupid fucking fairies.
Get him!
For magic DPS, you have the Summoner, the Black Mage, and... Are they the only magic DPSs? Between those two, I'd still think I'd choose Black Mage. They have a weird mana mechanic, but they can do some fucking crazy honking damage as a burst. Whereas the Lancer would be a really powerful physical DPS that just keeps going, so they can like pop the charts that they're good. Fucking Black Mages just naturally, they're bursty. They're bursty as fuck. They'll do no damage when they're on Ice mode, which is their less damaging spells, but they get like triple mana regen. And the other mode is Fire mode, unless they changed it. And in Fire mode, they have no mana regen, but they do like 6 times the normal damage of their fire spells. So if the Black Mage channels it right, they can fucking burst out some damage when they're in Fire mode. But they do that like that, and then it's like a man in the bedroom.
Why?
After that, they just pass out and don't hear about it for 5 minutes.
Sure is a weak
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about for the list earlier. If you choose DPS, you're in line as a DPS. Get ready for some wait times. Admittedly, it's like, oh, well, there are 2 DPSs, so it goes twice as fast. But there are more than twice as many DPS classes to level up in those same dungeons. So no, there's not. In the earlier dungeons, before you get your prestige class, you don't have scholars, you only have conjurers. So if you want to be a healer in line at the lower level things, you're stuck with Conjurer. It's the only thing that's getting you through like the pre-level 20 dungeons. It's like 2 of them. It's the only class that counts as a healer for those. I mean, higher level classes can get in line for lower level dungeons. I'm not saying they can't, but like leveling up, if you are that class, you're either a tank or you're in the DPS line. Because Conjurer is boring. You want to know what the Conjurer's damaging spells are? Rock.
This'll help a lot.
That's it. I've told you the only damaging spell they have at low level. They upgrade it to Rock 2. Like 96% of every spell the White Mage Conjurer combo has is healing. They have garbage for damage spells until later level. They have just garbage in their choices. And they have cooldowns. So you're like, Rock. Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look, there's a different enemy. Rock. If you're a high enough level, you get Wind. It's called Arrow, but Wind. And that gives everyone a DPS. It gives them a dot, I mean. So you're like, Wind. While that's going, you can't double wind them, so...
I don't want to lose my
Rock. 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 Wind. Rock. It's really boring to level up as the Conjurer. Wait, that is true. The whole point of the Titan Eggy was to be the tank. Did they de-take the Titan? That's amazing. I mean, it was never like the greatest at it, but you know, they were an okay backup. It's like the one summon I did like was the Titan Eggy. So Summoner gets to take the enemy bosses and turn them into his pets. So there's Titan for stone, Ifrit for fire, and Garuda for wind. Fire, single target, Garuda's multi-target DPS, and Titan could tank. Wasn't the greatest at it, but he could. That was like the only one I did like.
Does this mean we...
But then, of course, if he's tanking, that means he's by the bad guy. So I can tell where he is. Fucking hate the fairies. I think we've done this well. We just need to mine this out.
Hey, man, you're shaking it all wrong.
But shaking it's all I know.
Shh. Let me show you.
You're shaking it all wrong. This is the dancing bug, isn't it? Yeah, it's the dancing bug. I remember this episode. Or I should say I remember this scene. I actually don't remember which episode it's from. I definitely remember the stupid bug scene. But yeah, ultimately though, for anyone who's interested and or getting it right now like Steve and Robert, don't fret too much. Whatever class you pick, like you're stuck as that class, but only to like level 10 or 15. And at that point, you can just join any other guild and also get that class. So whatever you grab at the beginning is just to like introduce you to the game. After that, you can just switch to a different class if you really don't like the class you were. Like, I closed it, didn't I? I should have left it open, but if you had looked at the Vivia or Initia, the white mage that I brought up earlier, I have every class in the game. Some of them are much higher levels than others, but I have every class in the game. There's just no reason. There's not really a reason not to. They used to have like really good cross-class abilities, but they nerfed that. Like,
Well, the crate says
you would get white mage
I've
to
heard of
get
whites before, but I've never
stone
heard
skin.
of blacks.
And if you played as any of the other healers, you could use stone skin from white mage, but white mage did stone skin better. Like that's kind of how it worked. Until people complained, so like, oh, this means we all have to play a little bit of white mage to get stone skin, because stone skin's an important ability.
Thank you for finding the
So they got
moon,
rid of stone skin
But I wish you hadn't.
because the scholar's bitch.
You, Mr. Wickles?
A groundhog bone shield. That's pretty nice. I will read the description for that one.
Well, it's still early. Why don't we go into the museum and take a shit on
Testing. Ah, yes. This is Wrath Guilty, the Crazed Inch, a groundhog bone shield. This is a groundhog bone shield. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. This object menaces with spikes of groundhog bone. On the item is an image of Kabish work rings, the dwarf, in peach wood. Wrath Guilty, the Crazed Inch, a groundhog bone shield. And let's read the maple cup. Mountain butts. No, mountain bust. Mountain busts. Mountain titties. This is a maple cup. All craft workmanship is of the highest quality. This object is adorned with hanging rings of maple. On the item is an image of two mountains in maple.
Reboot will return after these messages.
Legit. It's called Mountain Bust. I was joking because bust titties. On the item is an image of two mountains.
One of the yachts from the river?
There's no one
This artifact is just a cup that someone drew some titties on.
I don't
That's all
like
they did. That artifact is just a titty cup.
I like it.
Come on, let's follow it.
We're all sexy.
Except for school.
Oh, come down from there. Scoops.
Get the fuck down! Fucking jump!
Yes, some classes were introduced like as pure classes, not like a prestige class or regular class. So red mage, who can do a little bit of healing, a little bit of DPS, a little bit of physical.
Don't worry,
Samurai,
Scoops. I'm coming right in.
Dark Knight. I think there's now one who's a gunblade. There's a dancer, and I feel like there's one more that I'm forgetting. You can't access them till you get to the level that, and part of the story, basically, you have to get to the right expansion to unlock. Ah, yes.
I have a nice bus.
Check the relationships of the creator of the bus cut. Good call. Who made bus cut? Who made it? I thought it told me who made it. Am I not understanding how to check to see who made this? It's gonna be a legendary woodcrafter. Hold on. I'm gonna say it's Tosid Nirovluv.
The caveman. He's the sheriff.
Hey, kids.
Nope. Dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. So this person didn't create the masterwork. Who made this?
Right.
Hey, what do you suppose?
Oh,
Shaq and
wait, there are
Scoots
others.
up to?
Let's see if it's Hellfire Skyrim.
Hey, get out of my back door.
I'm a dog lover.
Hey, what's holding you down?
Nope. Dreams are creating.
Daphne
Didn't make a masterwork.
Daphne wants her.
What? Oh,
That
no.
leaves
Come
Eltman.
on, Daph.
Eltman,
Get the
did
fuck
you do
out of
this?
there. We have work to do. Daphne?
Come on, Daphne.
Don't worry. This picture's coming out now.
Dreams are creating a great work of art. That's not a masterpiece.
Cut it out.
Cunts.
I'm not gonna stay around here and
Who made
let him
this?
stay around here with his appetite
Is this
for
gonna be
every
my
direction.
damp stone?
Me?
That's one strange
Like,
mood.
wow, you really think I'd eat all those dicks
Who the fuck
behind
had the
your
mood?
back? Oh, maybe I would.
Ah, Lore Besmarkier.
What are we gonna do?
Woodcraft. Didn't I check you already? Yep, and this dream was realized. Okay, cool.
Why do you think your mommy or daddy are always telling you?
Doesn't
"Put
have
that
a
in your mouth"?
wife, has a mother, a father, brothers and sisters, but no wife. We don't want to know who this person based their titty cup off of.
Hogan's Rock and Wrestling.
Oh, Blue Mage.
Go through the turnstile.
Who serves a Skooks video?
It's stuck.
Song request of Skooks? I don't know what's a Skooks video.
Look!
Hey, we're flying.
Oh shit, I never made the drinks.
Flying.
What do we do?
I sorted out the plants and I forgot to make sure to keep up with the drinks.
I'll think of something. And I think we'd better think of something.
I got
What are
distracted.
we gonna do?
Think of what we can think of.
Alright, this I want to start removing and replacing with floor. That way down below counts as above ground, and then I can start putting in bedrooms. Now what time is it? It is 1.
I'll lift it up.
I can keep this going, but not for too much
You'll be
longer.
laughing out of your dick.
How much do we have left? Okay, I'm going to turn off viewer
like to
requests
see the
on
strong
the media request. Basically, let these play out. Anywho, 'twas nice chatting with y'all, but it's nearly 1 a.m. here and I need some sleep. Yeah, no, it's 1 a.m. here. We at least completed our triangle. We haven't gotten everyone in, but we have completed our Triforce.
Number 8.
And we're clearing out our internal triangles down below. But considering we started this base today, as long as it took, as long as it has taken, I think this is the fastest rate we've done. Within one session, we went from declaring what the mission was, in this case, making the foundation for a base that is in the shape of a Triforce, and we did it. It is complete. We don't have any rooms in it, but we have made the Triforce. So that's pretty good. I think for future streams of this, I will reference it somewhat as Triforce base, and for the playlist when I finally upload it to YouTube, we'll mention as this will be the Triforce base. I can't think of anything else to call this other than Triforce base.
Look at that! The head, look at the head, look at the head, look at that!
What is a good range class? Well, here's the thing. There's only really one
I think we may
physical
have a
range,
mystery
and
on
that's
our
the Archer/Hunter. But that one's weird. So the Archer is a DPS class
No, thanks.
that gets a prestige class
I always get
as a
weird
bard.
feeling when I eat real
So
people.
they're it's DPS to stronger DPS, or healer to stronger healer, or tank to stronger tank.
Wow, Mother Nature goofed
You had the scholar where they go from DPS to healer, but at least you got to choose whether or not that happened to you. The archer is physical range DPS, and they become buff master. Like, they have abilities where they lower their DPS to sing to give the party a buff.
We'd be glad to give you a lift to the cave.
Just pointing out as the physical DPS. But other than that, I'm trying to think of who you start out as. It's them, Black Mage. Those are your 2 range, right? Am I crazy? Those are your 2 starting range. Can you start as a machinist? Machinist, that's one of the classes I forgot. They are guns and engineers. They summon turrets to fight for them. And they have like sniper rifles and shit. They're pretty amazing. But I don't think you can start as one, can you? Machinist is kind of half what the archer should have been to begin with. They use guns, not bows, and they do damage, and then they just do damage. That is a machinist.
Secret fish.
Like I said, I don't quite remember all the classes right now. They have a, unless they change it, they have a
chiropractic care.
Yeah.
Is it safe?
So job is what they call a prestige class. But a lot of jobs added later on don't have a base class because they gave up that whole mechanic. So the only classes that become a prestige class are ones from the original Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn. Every new class added in new expansions has to be introduced at the current level of the expansion. So it's just a job or a new class that starts out at like level 50 because they aren't going to go all the way back to level 1 areas and reprogram in new quests at level 1 for all these classes. So that's how they work now. So that's what's like, I can't really remember all the jobs because a whole bunch of them was like, oh, you got the expansion. Now there's just 2 new jobs you can be as well. Okay, and they start at a high level, so you don't really have all the memories of slowly unlocking the abilities, which kind of blows because as the class is going into a job or a prestige class, you're like, oh, I get the heal. Now I have an AoE heal. Now I have a buff to my heal. Like you learn as you accrue the abilities, like how it works together. I see you got Dwarf. Give me a sec, Grogrin. When you get the new jobs, it's like, we're going to make you do 3 quests or 4 quests as the job, and then you'll be able to do the job wherever. And it's like, but that's not the same thing. So you just kind of have to like force teach yourself the new jobs. If that makes sense, like how they really work. Welcome to the stream, by the way, Grogrin. You got lucky. We went really late today. Grogrin got Dwarf number 1. Grogrin.
Hey, there it is.
Toasted. Are you the guy that made Titty Cup? Grogrin, did you make the Titty Cup?
House is this way, Batman.
Was Toasted the Titty Cup man?
Justin Bieber. I better get something to defend myself.
Who made the Titty Cup? Was it Grogrin?
Stuck. I won.
Nope, you were not Titty Cup, Grogrin. You are number 1, but you are not the Titty Cup Dwarf.
Creepers. Hey, like what happened to the fat house?
Yeah,
We'll get to the bottom of it by staying on top of it. Cookies. Was there really milk? Was there actually cookies?
No.
Was there actually cookies?
Amazing, Batman. Absolutely mind-boggling. Robin? Shut up. Well, no offense, but you've gone. Save Batman.
There you go. I'm gonna let that finish. But yeah, no, see? You see what the differences make? I have homework from school. My mind is fried and I can't do streaming. The homework is finished. Not only are we streaming, we're going hours late.
Walking on the ceiling. Throw the switch.
I'm trying to think of the starting classes.
Nothing more than an ordinary bed sheet. Come on, we're gonna switch. You mean like you'd rather do it the other way around?
Starting classes for a Realm Reborn.
Look, we'll never catch him. He's on a unicycle.
Okay, so your starting classes are Gladiator, who becomes a Paladin.
Hoodwinks. It's Fred.
That's a guy who tanks via armor, and that didn't really affect me. Marauder becomes a warrior. That's your Barbarian. He tanks via large amounts of health. He's pretty amazing. Especially when you, like, I love those guys because remember, as a white mage, I have the ability to where I say, regardless of your damage, I put you at full health. So the paladin, like, if your damage is overcome by certain high damaging things, like you're just going to take 2,000 damage no matter what, for instance. 2,000 damage means a whole hell of a lot less than a warrior if I have to use that full heal. But at the end of the day, they're both pretty fucking amazing. Pugilist becomes the monk. That's a melee DPS dude. He's got this weird mechanic where he can do abilities and they chain together like spider stance into fucking praying mantis stance into monkey stance. But they require you to know which stance is where. So like some of them do more damage hitting from behind the enemy. So you're constantly like spinning around the enemy trying to hit them with a pugilist. But they do pretty good damage. The Arcanist becomes a scholar or the summoner, as we mentioned previously. And the summoner is technically a ranged DPS. So the Arcanist is a ranged DPS, but it's kind of like also your pet's doing it. So it's weird. Conjurer becomes a white mage. He's a healer. Thaumaturge becomes a black mage. Ranged DPS, magical. Rogue, we forgot about Rogue. Rogue becomes the ninja, melee DPS. He has to do like the freaking Sharingan Naruto finger things. Like you kind of have to know what word leads to what. Like you have to know she becomes goo, becomes flippy, becomes meh, and then the guy dies. Like you like that one you have to like know what combos to what for it to work. Lancer Dragoon is melee DPS. Like I said, they're pretty powerful. As far as I remember, they used to be able to they used to be the #1 top single target damage dealer in the game. But they also are just routinely treated as if they're morons because of the way their class works. Archer is the only ranged physical DPS starting out the game. Black Mage being magical. There is a slight difference between those two. Heaven's Word added in the Machinist, we discussed. Dark Knight, they're a tank via weird shit. Like, oh, you did this damage to me, but no, not really. Or your damage means I do more damage. Or my damage means I take less damage. It's fucking weird. Astrologian is the RNG healer. Red Mage is DPS and healer and physical. It's the Final Fantasy Red Mage. Samurai, physical DPS. You have to know stances and shit. It's weird. Shadowbringers, which I've not played yet, added in Gunbreaker, which is the gunblade wielder. And they're a tank, and they added in Dancer, which is DPS. And I don't have anything on information for them because I haven't played any of them at all. And there is a shit ton of crafting classes. There's like 8 of them, and there's 3 gathering classes. You can't start as either gathering or crafting classes. But I would say, I will get to bed in a second. I'm about to help Steven Robert. I'm about to break open his entire game. At the beginning of the game, there'll be a cinematic where you'll be talking to someone. And at some point, the dude will look at you and he'll be like, hey, why are you here? Are you here for money? Are you here for prestige? Are you here for friendship or some stupid nonsense? You are here for money. You are here for money. The market may be different. I grant you this. The market may no longer reflect this. But even if it doesn't reflect it now, it'll probably reflect it again at some point. What this is doing is it's choosing your starting accessory, like an earring slot or whatever. So if you're like, I'm here for my friends, I think you get one that gives you like extra health. And if I'm here for honor or whatever, maybe extra damage, something stupid. If you say I'm here for money, you get like this earring that gives you like +1 crafting point, which is like the mana for crafters. This stupid ring can sell from anywhere between like $10,000 and if the cycle for crafters is poor, to like over 100,000. It's bonkers. There are actually people who sit there and like restart the game over and over and over again to try to farm this ring, except for if you skip the cinematic, it gives you one at random. So it's really a question about patience. And the reason why is, as a crafter, you have to get to like level 15 or level 10 till you can wear an accessory that increases your CP, because it has like a level requirement of 10 or 15 or some crap. But that starting one does not have a level requirement. So people get to the end of the game or the end of the story who've just got the game, and then they're like, okay, I wish to now take my riches and power level crafting. And they're like, shit, this is slightly difficult. If only I had more crafting. Then they'll realize they can't equip the thing that makes crafting easier until a higher level, unless they have this one ring. So the people who look that up immediately go to the market board and they try to buy that ring. So it's fucking expensive because the only people who buy it are the people who have leveled a like combat class to some level and they're like, now I wish to start crafting. So they take their combat money and they'll just fucking buy whatever from the market board to start crafting. And it's the only way you can get this ring is the starting cinematic. You have to say, I'm here for money. And it's like, it's a secret, but it's not. It's like not kind of known because everyone ends up buying that stupid thing. But it's fucking amazing. I did it like 2 or 3 times. I created a new character for the express purpose of just selling that stupid ring. Like I said, it's a slightly long cinematic though. It's not like a 5-minute one. It's almost like a Metal Gear Solid cinematic. You gotta see like 2 or 3 cinematics back to back. It's kind of annoying. But depending upon how the market is, it's an easy way to get money. It's more money than the other 2 stupid rings give you. Way the fuck more money than the other 2. Even if the market's bad, that one will get you more money than the other 2. Just do not equip it. Do not put it on your ear or your finger, whatever the accessory is. Because when you put on shit, it gets soulbound because you can turn them into materia. Once it is 0.0001% soulbound to you, you can never trade it. You can't sell it, you can't do nothing. Do not equip that ring. If it starts with it equipped, equip it immediately as soon as you get into the game. You're selling this stupid thing. Whatever it is, I can't remember. But you're selling it, it's money. It's cash money, y'all. Sell that shit. It is amazing how fucking stupid that ring is. Because there's nothing that comes close to it for like 10 levels. It's fucking stupid and it's annoying. And as someone who has maxed out every fucking crafting class, every time I started back at level 1 for a crafting class, you better believe I equipped that same fucking ring. It sounds stupid at low levels, but that extra CPU or whatever the hell it is fucking, it makes a difference. Because as a crafter, you can critically succeed at crafting shit. There's like, let's say you have to get 100% of your crafting thing. There's crafting progress and crafting quality. If you get 50%, you blow all your special crafting abilities to get that bar to half, you only have a 20% chance of getting a high quality item, which sells for a lot more and gives higher stats. After 50%, it ramps up. So like 20% is in 50 and the remaining 80% is in the other 50%. So every little bit you can get beyond that first 50% when crafting is fucking way the hell better than anything you did getting to the 50%. So if you don't have like items to boost your shit, there's not really much of a point. But if you have an item to boost your shit, like I said, 50 to 55% on that stupid bar is like fucking 20 times better than 40 to 50. Like as long as you can get to 50% and then just get beyond it, like get over that hill, you have greatly increased your chance of making a profit, or if you're crafting for yourself, making really good gear. And it's, like I said, it's not till like level 10 or 15 that you can equip gear that increases your CP or whatever the fuck it is. I can't remember. Like I said, it's a necessary item, but you only get it if at the beginning you say, I'm here for money, which is the funniest shit. Especially considering the other items are such a fucking letdown. They are such a letdown compared to that one item. All right, it is 1:10 in the morning. I have ranted and shared information enough. Green Goblins has died, so let's kill him off. He finally died from his mood. I always forget how Green Goblins does this. Dwarf kill Green Goblins? I think that worked. But yeah, and we caused a cave-in, but I don't think anyone got too terribly hurt. It says unconscious, but he's up top. Yeah, I see what I did. This is my fault. I ordered too much channel at once. Yeah, oh well. I am probably going to end it here, though. I started about 15 minutes late due to food, but we've now gone an hour and 15 minutes extra, so I feel like I've more than paid my time. Yeah, as a matter of fact, after I get off this, I'll tell fucking Steam to, I'll launch it, make sure I'm up to date. Like I said, I've already paid for that latest expansion. I think there is a Steam code thing, like a friend code that I'll give you, and what this will mean is you'll gain experience at the beginning of the game like a shit ton faster. And I think when I'm with you, maybe I do. I forget what I get out of it. But if you are with a friend, you get like 20% more experience. If it's like the mentor friend that got you into the game. I forget what it is. I'll talk to you offline. I'll figure out what the code is, but it'll be fine. Oh, migrants. Why are we having food issues? Because we're out of food. All right, we're going to end it there. That's a great time to end. That's a fucking cliffhanger. We have no food and we have no drinks. How many tens of dwarves are going to die at the beginning of the next stream? Triforce and Titty Cup ends. Thank you all so much for watching. The next week, I do have finals, but my schedule is slightly more open, but I'm probably going to devote a few of those to trying to do some YouTube videos. So I'll try to get a stream in the middle of the week. It's not going to be Thursday like it's scheduled. I think that's one of the days of my finals. So I will try to get a day in. I wish I could be more guaranteed about it, but I will definitely be doing my normal stream on Saturday. I don't have homework anymore. Nothing to tax my brain. Nothing to make my brain all mushy. We will definitely be doing Dwarf Fortress again next Saturday. Thank you all so much for watching. Everyone have a good night